So this is Jamboard, and I found it just by putting Jamboard into Google. And it's my account with Baltimore County. I'm logged in as Baltimore County into the site itself, the Jamboard site, and I'm logged into my browser as myself too, just to make everything easier. You can make a new Jamboard by pressing this button here. I'm going to go into a Jamboard that I already made. This one, I was doing some music on this one. And this click right here, this is just a copied and pasted chunk of a website from a music writing website. It Control V for paste works really well in Jamboard. So if you wanted to write a paragraph in Word, you can just take a snip of it, for example. So like, let's say I was over here. Let me get there first. So let's say I had some text, or I wrote this text. Ha ha ha. I can use the snipping tool to grab a piece of it and hit copy. And when I switch back to my Jamboard, I'm going to make a new screen. So this is screen one of my Jamboard. I can just go like this and it makes page 2, which we'll talk about more in a minute because that can be incredibly useful. So if you want to write text or you just want to copy and paste text from somewhere, and you can make it a little bigger. So now what you can do is you can have kids use these tools. So you can be like, okay, grab the pen and make it red and make it a different kind of pen. And then you could have kids underlining or putting accent marks if they're going to discover the iambic pentameter of these lines, or underline every word that that is no longer used in our common speech or whatever. So ne'er. And you can have one kid take the red, one kid take the blue. As they come to this Jamboard, they'll appear up here, and you can have as many kids on here as you want. Of course, I wouldn't want more than a few kids with permission to write or manipulate on the Jamboard at the same time. All the kids who have the Jamboard will see this and see the changes in real time, which is why these pages are so neat, because I could take the same thing, copy that again, and stick it on page 3. Then I could make a page 4, and I'm doing it just that fast. Here's page 5, here's page 6, here's page 7. So let's say kids were in groups of 3, or kids had partners or whatever. So you could say, Johnny, take page 1, Sally, take page 2, Troy and Edmund take page 3 or whatever, and they could be working on these pages, and they wouldn't all see it at once. So, they'd have to go to the pages. You can't like have them click and, oh, they're suddenly on page 6. They have to understand how to use this, of course. It requires a little training of the kids. So you'd have to be like, okay, this is how you go to page 5. Make sure you're on the right page as you have a conversation about what you're doing here. Now, how do you get this Jamboard to the kids? So if I go share, very important, take notes here. I'll give you a moment, get a pencil out, because this is key. You want to change this. It'll come in where it's private, where you can't share it with anyone. What you do is you change it. I like to change it to this one. Anyone at Baltimore County Public Schools with a link can see it, but you want them to be able to edit it. So if you just want them to see it, can view, what's the point of that? Just use the PowerPoint. But if you want them to edit it, you've got to change this. So you've got to change these two things and then save that. So now, anyone in Baltimore County Schools who has the link can edit. So where's the link? Right here. So I'm going to copy this link, and then you drop that link into your chat. Okay? And I'll show you that in a minute. So now I'm in my Google Meet. You got to pretend there's a whole screen full of kids here. I don't even have my picture. But I'm in my Google Meet. I just open up my chat. And I go down here and I go Control V, I paste, press enter. Now every kid in the Meet can click on this and it will pop open a new tab. And in that new tab will be your Jamboard ready for them to write on. Now, kids are going to see the chat pop up and they can't click on it there. Maybe they can, I don't know, but it'll go away really fast. The kids have to be directed to open the chat on the side because not every kid does that all the time. And then they click this link right here. It'll be highlighted in blue for them. It will take them to this Jamboard, and then they will be able to write on it. Now, what good does this do you? Well, If you're in your group of 18, 20, 25 kids, you can call on one kid to make the changes. So one kid gets to do the drawing, and then another kid can do line 2, and another kid can do the meter for line 3, one at a time. You can also, of course, project this into your meet. So if here's your meet, like normally I'd have the tabs like this because I'd have the meet open first. You can project it into the meet so the kids don't have to go. Only the kids that you call on will click the blue text and go to the Jamboard. Or have all of your kids click the blue text and go to your Jamboard. And they're listening to you in the meet. They hear your voice from the meet and directions, but they're looking at the Jamboard while they work on it, or while one child works on it. Then they come back to the meet. So you're going to be training your kids to go back and forth between these two things. They, of course, won't have these other tabs up here. It'll just be the two. Okay, now here's the really advanced version that honestly I haven't tested yet, but I really want to. So we're in a room right now called Sloan 49. Now turn the video off right now if you're fine with what we've done so far with Jamboard. But if you want to get crazy, this is where the crazy starts. So I can make another room called Sloan 49, room 2. Okay, so I can just go to a new tab. I can go to Google Meet, and I can join or start a meeting, and this one is Sloan 49 2 or -2 or whatever you want to do. So here's Sloan 49 2. There I am. I'm going to turn all that off in case it messes with my recording. Okay, I just made the Sloan 49 2 room. Then I can open up a new tab and make a new meet. And you can do this before your class starts. You're like, I can't do this in the middle of class. We'll do this before class. Sloan 49-3. Got that one going. As far as I know, I can have as many of these as I want. So here's what you can do. You can be in your big room. Now you got to pretend this room has, 20 kids in it. I just went back to my main room. Prove it. There I am in my main room. Sloan 49, the original. You can say, I'd like Mary and Mark and Jane to please open up a new tab and go to another Google Meet called Sloan 49-2. So you can train your kids to know what you can put it up here on your screen if you want to. You can have the groups all labeled on projecting, project a slide in this large meet that says, Mark, bum, 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 go to a meet called this. Now they don't leave this meet. They leave this meet on with their microphones muted. Okay? And then they all go into their other meet. You're going to have like 1, 2, maybe 4 or 5 meets up here across the way. And you're sending your kids to stay in the big meet, but they're going to move over to the other meets and do their group work. And then if you talk to them in the main meet, they will still hear you. Like I'm in the main meet right here, but my mic is off, my camera's off, whatever, but my sound isn't off. If the teacher talks to me in this meeting room, I will still hear my teacher even though I'm over here in this one with my sound on and my camera on, and I'm working in this room, and I've got this Jamboard, like say this is Jamboard, this is page 7, and I'm in the group here. So you see, to understand what I'm saying, here I am on page 7, and I'm working with my 2 or 3 friends marking this up, and you as the teacher can then move through these small group rooms, and then at the end you can call everybody back to the main rooms to say, okay, everybody, close your other rooms, come on back, and then you can go through each group's work and have a whole class discussion about the markup or the work or the math problem or how they worked it out. You can all share that work that they did in each one of their breakout rooms. And you can move through the rooms and turn your mic on, turn your microphone off in your main room, turn your microphone off in group 1's room, and then talk to them. So you can really just drop in on all the kids as they're working. I know it sounds like a lot to manage, a ton of tabs up here, but before the end of the year, you might want to give it a try with one of your groups and just see how feasible it is. I intend to try it with some kids as soon as I can get a reason. I tend to see groups of kids that are in like 60. Not really going to work with 60 kids, right? Because to divide that into groups of 3 and 4, it'd be impossible. But if you have 20 kids showing up, maybe more. I know people have full classes sometimes, but you could make 5 rooms of 4 kids, and maybe they could have that conversation among each other to get some work done, solving a math problem or diagramming a paragraph or all kinds of things they could do. They could write on Jamboard. I mean, explore the Jamboard tools. You have your sticky notes. You can write on it. You can import images. You can erase. You can draw, and of course with their touch screens, they can do the drawings and stuff. All right, anyways, that's a little taste of Jamboard and breaking out some small groups maybe. Hopefully that's useful.